Welcome everybody to the ATS mainstream. It's Sunday evening, and that means it's Super Bowl evening. Oh wait, no, it's Rocket League evening. Welcome in CplMonkeyshines now to the stream, as we've got one and only one match tonight. Ukiyo, Kaizen, Lunar, Shadow. What an end to our week it is. We're back in 135 Esports Phoenix Cup Division. And again, a match to end our week, to end week one. It's a good one as well. Ukiyo, Kaizen, we're here last season. But it's gonna be a great match here as we're gonna just start talking about these teams very, very soon. And again, this is gonna be very fun. I'm excited to see how things are gonna go. I'm excited to see how things are going to work. And this Ukiyo Kaizen team, I'm interested in how they play this season, considering last season for them wasn't very good. I don't believe they even made playoffs last season. This season, they're hoping to have things different as they now compete again as part of this very tough Apex Cup division this season. A division that has now doubled in size since last season's version.
And you now have Lunar, Shadow as well. Very excited about this team. And folks, if you're not aware, this is an NA versus EU matchup. Lunar, Shadow, all of them across the pond. And I will tell you as well, Sporty, I've been in the Rocket League scene since 2021, and there's one player that I have seen more than any. Doesn't matter the rank, doesn't matter from bottom to top, anything. There's one player that I've seen the absolute most of in that entirety, and that is Torn, a member of Lunar Shadow this evening. But for Lunar Shadow, I think they've got a quality roster here. Again, EU, they might have some ping issues, so they're going to have to play very aggressive early on, but no Torn, no Fate. They, teammates for a long, long time, looking for a third, and now finding a home with Lunar Shadow for the moment. We're anticipating maybe seeing Motion originally, but going to have Flocky coming in here as a substitute, an individual that they haven't scrimmed a whole 10 of a lot as a three-person team, but excited to see what they're able to do. But again, kind of stepping back here again for a moment, I feel if they're going to take this series, Sporty, they need to dictate pace of play. If you have ping issues, if you are able to establish how the game is going to be played, I mean, it puts you at such an advantage. But you have to find a way to establish that early on, because if Kaizen, by the same property, or Kaizen, big pardon, if they are able to establish the pace, then it's difficult because comms might be off a little bit. You might have to go pre-jump city. You might have to just put yourself in positions you are absolutely not comfortable in faster than you are. But ultimately, we may very well see this decided in game 1 or 2. How long do you see this? How long do you see this match going on?
Well, it's definitely going to be somewhat of a long matchup here this evening, with how close these two teams are in that seeding. But I do agree, the question is going to come to Lunar Shadow if they're going to play well. For Ukiyo Kaizen, they have a lot that they want to prove here. Aesbo, Clay, and Skeps are definitely looking to find that adjustment, find those, new ways of kind of moving around each other. But also, they want to find playoffs. Last season, they were one step away. Game differential determined that their run would end in the first stage of the competition. And speaking of playoffs, CplMonkeyshines, and to all of you who are watching, we actually got a lot of people watching today. I think they're all here to watch us reveal the playoff dates. Here they are. The Sporty FC Ascension Cup will start on April 5th. The House Gryffindor Pinnacle Cup on April 6th. The 135 Esports Phoenix Cup, the division you're seeing right now, on April 13th. Ukiyo Esports Catalyst Cup on the 26th, and Team Evo Apex Cup on the 27th. All those, that's the final bracket, top 8 single elimination brackets. That's the date that they happen. The quarterfinals start at 8 p.m. Eastern on all days, and will end as soon as the finals is over. That starts at 10 p.m. Eastern on our schedule. So, playoff dates are now announced. CplMonkeyshines teams have something to look forward to. And teams like this Ukiyo Kaizen team, they didn't make it last season. There's a lot of teams like them this season who want to go back, who want to fight for those playoff spots again, who want to fight for a top 8 spot as well, because those top 8 spots, those are tough to come by nowadays.
Indeed they are, and we, like you say, we got a ton of people out there watching. Let's see, we got Leopard, Molly, Anayake, we've got Faye, we've got Gramon, great to see you. We've got Bexy, Aespo. Who else? We've got Ben, of course. We have just a ton of people coming on in here, going to be enjoying some marvelous Ascent Tournament Series action. This is the Pinnacle Cup, brought to you by the fine folks at 100x35 Esports. Again, very excited to see what we have here. We've got a team in Kaizen that came up there, like you said, didn't have the season that they were looking for last time around, looking to start something solid here in the early going in week number 1. Lunar Shadow, though, I think trying to really figure out what they are about. Like I said, Flocky coming into this one as a sub. We were anticipating Motion, but I think if they can establish themselves early on, like I say, establish that pace of play, I think the evening is going to be a solid one for them. Honestly, and I don't know why I feel this, but I'm getting Game 4 vibes here. I think one of these teams wins 3-1.
Well, we'll see about that. I like that prediction. And reminder, CplMonkeyshines, you're pretty good at doing this. You're pretty good at making good predictions. At least in my history, you've been pretty good. If you haven't been good on your stream, well, guess what? It's a new stream, so you get to start new history. That's the fun about this one. It's week 1. It's new history everybody. And a new season with the playoff dates now announced. I know these players aren't paying attention to them, but we are as we go into this best of 5 matchup. Ukiyo Kaizen on the blue, Lunar, Shadow in the orange, and a best of 5 series. Determine whose week 1 will start better. It's the end of our week as well, so both these teams are going to get off to the best start they can as this ball continues downfield. They're not the last match, though, in this week. There's actually a Tuesday match with Affinity Mirage playing in it, so we'll see if that match gets streamed at all next week. But for these teams, it's their week 1 match. It comes relatively late. Trying to get themselves off to a good start is Ukiyo Kaizen getting some early offense going. And if there's anyone to look out for, it's going to be Aesbo, was on this team last season, has been stating ever since the end of last season that he is going to fight for that playoff spots. And he's determined, I can tell you that. He's got a sense of what it's like to be in the playoffs back in the ATS, what is it called again? The Paradise Cup too. Man, we have so many different divisions. Made it top 16, got to the group stage in that, could not get much further, but he knows what it's like to be in that playoff bracket. This season, though, it's all matters comes down to the league. This league is the biggest tournament in ATS, so every game matters, every match matters, and for a player like Aesbo, who is no stranger to this league, he needs to make sure that this team that he's leading, full of newer players, is able to, rely on him for guidance.
Yeah, so you talk about 2 teams that you've got new players on both sides of the pitch, right? You've got new chemistry that need to be created. Marvelous save there by Skeps. As again, Lunar Shadow looking to establish something here. Both of these teams are, the largely boosted situation there for Kaizen, beg pardon, as Flocky able to get the touch, but Faye very far back, sends it high. Torn instead, going to rush up. No, opting to head back off the penny. Skeps will be set away now by Faye. Faye already with the save and savior, and we are just about a minute and a half in.
Yeah, no, she's had to make a lot of blocks back there. Lunar Shadow had been pushed back early on, and you mentioned early on, again, the fact that even though Flocky is labeled as their sub, is labeled as a starter, he's actually their sub here as Lunar Shadow will be conceding first here, an awkward bounce. Flocky can't get to it, and Faye just undershot it there, and it's going to be a first goal for Lunar Kaizen, and a very strange goal as well, because it was definitely savable, but it was just panic. Miss from Flocky, miss from Faye, and Ukiyo Kaizen are going to be happy to take goal 1. It may not be the way that they were looking to take it, but I don't think they'll mind, considering that they need to get to a good start. As Skeps now just couldn't get the double tap off the kickoff.
So under 3 minutes now, and Kaizen able to get on the board here first. Aesbo wants to make it another one, but yeah, just a couple of moments where you find yourself boostless, and if you're having ping issues, which right now not too bad, 132 for Flocky, 112 for Torn. Meanwhile, Faye out there, a scant 92, so not too bad if you are an EU crew coming in here trying to get the dub. Marvelous save by Faye, now looking to rush up, has the handle. It is Faye, and Faye not going to be able to sneak it past. Demolition, courtesy of Aesbo, able to slow down any offense there momentarily. Flocky able to spawn back off of that demolition. As now Faye tries to send it away, not able to get the touch. Skeps sent high. Aesbo hanging back, gonna be popped around now by Clay. Clay able to get the touch here yet again. Another possibility, but no, Faye playing really, really well back there in defense thus far.
Yeah, no, she's been a great defensive player so far for Lunar Shadow. She's just been able to keep this team safe, keep this team in, away from a lot of pressure. Because, simply put, this game feels like they've been under not that much pressure, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that Faye and now you can see Torn just doing really well whenever the ball comes to them. The first thing they do is they step back and take a look at the play. They don't rush it. They don't try to clear the ball out. They take a step back. They reassess the situation, and they find success doing so. As FaZe now may have just set up a free pass in front. There will be Lunar Shadow to get rid of that one. As now goes Clay. Ukiyo Kaizen on offense again. Flip reset. Stopped by Faye as here goes Torn. Space for Lunar Shadow as Flocky has room. This is a great chance to shoot. It's going to go back post. Skeps trips. Skeps must have tripped on a banana peel because he was in the right position, but he fell over in the net, and it's tied at 1 each.
I'm going to say I swore I saw some spasms or something going on there. Just tactical side flip, unfortunately not tactical enough, bringing us even. And one thing that I really enjoy as well about this Lunar Shadow team, it's the mindset. It's their knowledge. And Faye right off the kick. We're talking 2-1 set up by Torn, I believe, off the kick. Indeed, Torn able to kick it off the side. And this is something, Sporty, that these two have worked at so very much. The kickoff strats are on point. I ask you, give me one kickoff strat. It is out there between those two. common twos teammates, also shifting on over to threes, of course. But one of the most analytical minds I think I've ever come across is Torn. Just an individual that can set up plays from one end of the pitch to the other and back again. And hey, just like that, we're talking about a 2-1 lead in favor of Shadow after being down one early off of, kind of like you said, a score that really didn't have to be.
Yeah, it is, and you mentioned about that as well. Analytical players are the players that often have the best longevity in this game. It's about being able to recognize the play. There's a reason why so many good players in ATS history aren't good because of their mechanics, are good because of their longevity. Talk about people like Ford right now, who's been around in this league for a very long time. Teams like Exploding Cat Gift. The reason why those teams have longevity is because of the analytical nature of that team. They stick together, they just look at the plays together, and they find outplays together. And it's one of the reasons why you mentioned Torn, who, while new to ATS this season, is absolutely not new to Amateur Rocket League. He's not new to this situation.
Not at all.
As Lunar Shadow will go for more offense. As here goes Faye. Dunk on ones will be kept out by Clay. Aesbo. Now dribble this around, but Torn will win the challenge, and Lunar Shadow with a 1-goal lead. Ukiyo Kaizen needs to get that ball away. Clay missed it. Faye's gonna score a second goal for Faye, and Lunar Shadow should take game 1.
So you've got 4 shots, you've got 2 goals, and you've got the Savior Plus by Faye alone, really leading the charge here. And Sporty, hey, 3-goal run. What a great way to reset after that unfortunate goal earlier on. If you are a Lunar Shadow fan, you're able to come on back with a great team hat trick, great run, and quite probably that game 1 dub.
It's game 1 here for Lunar Shadow. Ukiyo struggling early on here. They were definitely a team that was going to have their issues coming in this season. A lot of it coming back down to just how new this roster is to each other, although it is just a slow start for them. It felt like they got that first goal, but they didn't really get much else. It was a Lunar Shadow team that plays like an EU team, fast and very challenge heavy, and you should expect that out of EU. EU is a region, I know, to not be very pretty, but that's why they're so successful. They don't care about how good it looks. They don't care about social media, TikTok, all those fun clips. All they care about is getting wins and getting wins consistently. That's what makes EU as a region so scary. And I would know pretty well. This is the first time we've had a full EU teams consistently in ATS. We have never had full EU teams coming in. We've had full EU teams in this league before, but never to the level that we have had this season. We've had orgs come in that want to have EU teams in here, but the thing about EU that makes this region so scary is just how fast and consistent they are and how heavy they put in those challenges. Expect more of that out of Lunar Shadow. Expect Ukiyo Kaizen. They're starting to get very frustrated because unlike most NA teams, EU teams are annoying, really, really annoying to play against.
They are, and if you enjoy the EU playstyle, congratulations, because when you have a team like this in Lunar Shadow, you are going to get authentic EU play. You are going to, like Sporty said, they can be annoying. They can certainly be the farthest thing from sexy, but they are certainly effective because, again, they're not out there, as Sporty said, for the short form. They're here to get the dubs. They're here to win. They're here to win the day. They're here to win the season. As now Skeps heads on back 73 in tank, popped off the side, now going to send out there to Aesbo. Aesbo not getting a lot of it, meeting of the minds there between the aforementioned two as well. Pop up now by Aesbo, nothing in tank. Flocky going to be able to escort this one away. Clay back there, Skeps sends that one along. Faye instead going to head back towards that back 100. Torn advancing. It's a little bit of a pop there off the undercarry. Clay looking to advance away. Opportunity for Ukiyo maybe to get on the board here. Pushing up now is Skeps. Skeps tries to set up, but unfortunately that one goes a little bit awry. Going to continue on this offensive attack is Aesbo. Sent back down. Deleted was Torn courtesy of Aesbo. And Kaizen now needing to rush back. Flocky has the reset, but Aesbo going to be able to get the touch.
Here's Lunar Shadow right now going for getting demoed a lot more here. You're seeing a much more aggressive style of Ukiyo and really a much more heavy commit style. They want demos, they want bumps, they want to get rid of Lunar Shadow. They're realizing if they can't beat them on the challenges, then they might as well just not let this Lunar Shadow team play at all here. And that's the strategy that they got to go with. That's the adaptations they've got to make here during this game. Ukiyo making those changes very well known here as Lunar Shadow still winning a lot of these challenges in the midfield, still competing up for offense, a lot of quick transitions and not a lot of offensive chances. You really think if Lunar Shadow can hold offense a little bit more, if they can play a little bit more towards the midfield, they might be able to find themselves with so many good goal-scoring opportunities. But of course, that's not really their play right now. They want to sit back, they want to play defensive. They're really much more concerned about their own net, their own safety. They do know that they got to score, but they're really more concerned that they do not want to get scored on. And it's a different way of looking at this game. It's one that we've seen a good amount of teams do early in week one. Obviously, Lunar Shadow doing that, but the thing that separates them from a lot of teams that want to do that This Lunar Shadow team does it very, very well. They challenge everything that they need to, and they have a really, really good rotation, and that really helps teams like that.
Yeah, and they are, Kaizen, they are indeed sitting out around mid and just trying to bang it up and threaten the EU folks to do anything with it, as now Flocky looking to advance Torn there as well. Largely boostless, but it is the aerial demo goal attempt, and that as well, EU ball bully ball. More than happy to supply it are each and every one of these crews. And I'll say something else we should watch for, Sporty. Torn, an individual who has not only been working the pinch more into his repertoire on a regular basis, also has just been looking for overall consistency, has been able to find it. An individual that's just a tremendously good player, tremendously good game sense player, mechy if at all necessary, but always looking to improve. That, though, I would argue is a pretty standard EU mindset, though.
It is. It's pretty standard in EU, just to play for the win, to play for the team. It's again, one of the reasons why I think this region is overall just stronger at these rank levels, but they do have that disadvantage in ping. So I guess it all evens out initially as Faye's going to look for the pass out. Torn's going to miss that opportunity here. And right now for Lunar Shadow, while I like the control they have to start being a little bit more direct to that net. They just aren't getting close enough to it. It's almost as if they're playing a passive, not wanting to lose kind of play style. And I kind of alluded to that earlier, but it really feels like they just aren't playing to win. They aren't playing to get goals. They aren't playing to take risks. And maybe they're just playing for time, but it just feels like they aren't taking enough risks. They aren't taking enough chances here against this Ukiyo side. And tell me what, this Ukiyo team's good enough. Any team at this rank level is good enough to play defense. You're going to need to do something a bit more creative and a bit more lethal if you're going to want to find those goals.
Yeah, oftentimes with Faye and Torn, they kind of vibe out, right? They just back and forth, and they wait for the opportunity to supply itself, and oftentimes it does, and that is where they strike. But to be fair, even though the momentum, it still feels like it's kind of gone back and forth during this game specifically, there is a confidence to be had out there with Lunar Shadow that I don't think we're going to see go away, even if it's a situation where they lose the next 2 games. They're confident in what they can accomplish. They will, again, happily play at their pace, trying to force Kaizen, beg pardon, to be able to get up to try something themselves, to be able to switch on over to whatever playstyle that they possibly can. But it appears that both of these teams right now may be happy to play a little bit of ping pong.
It is a lot of back and forth, and I'm already noticing in chat a lot of support right now for Torn, which is, I think, kind of funny. Last time we saw a player on this stream get that much support, or even close to that much support, was only a few days ago when we had Topher on stream. So it tells you just how popular he is right now on this field, that he is comparable to Topher and the amount of people that are cheering for him right now. But Lunar Shadow continuing that offense, it just feels like a slow-moving game. They're not taking too long. Now they'll shoot, but it's stopped by Skeps. In comes Faye, but the shot not made. I think Faye didn't want to take a chance there of losing that 50-50, so it's hit to the floor. It's overtime, and for Lunar Shadow, 1 goal to take match point. The early shot stopped by Clay. Lunar Shadow going for some opportunities, but again, it feels like it's going to take a long time before we see any goals go in.
Yeah, it has been just a defensive struggle, and it felt really more of a both teams trying to force each other to dare to do something that they don't want to do, but instead they may not have gotten the shot to end regulation, but surely will end the day with that shot. Flocky off the back while they chase after him. Does Kaizen, and it costs them. Again, just back and forth that one went, Sporty, with both teams again staring down the opposite end of the pitch. Says, go on, do your thing. But ultimately, Lunar Shadow pressing Kaizen, putting them in such an uncomfortable situation. Look at that shot chart. Absolutely nuts. So you look at all the saves, almost a double savior, a savior, so many saves. But when you have that shot chart, if you are the one pressed up against your own net and you're the one making those saves and you're not trying to provide any aggression whatsoever, which is what it looked like Kaizen was doing in that situation, this is what happens. You will lose these low-scoring, tight games just about every time.
Yeah, it is. When it comes down to a lot of games, it really does come down to possession. That wins matches like these, and while Lunar Shadow may not be the most fun team to watch, considering that they don't take a lot of chances, they're good. It's effective. They are slowly but surely draining the life out of Ukiyo Kaizen. And again, that's what makes this EU style so scary and so annoying to play against, is that over time, you get more and more frustrated with it. You get more and more tired with it. And for a lot of NA players, they don't practice against this kind of playstyle. This is not a playstyle that a lot of North America likes to go with because it's not fun. It's not actually a fun playstyle to play either. But it's effective, and it works. And that's why teams do it here, as Ukiyo trying to get an early start or even nearly an own goal, as Plucky had to get a piece of that one. But Lunar Shadow again, they're going to do the same thing all over again. I can almost certainly assure you of it. It worked last game, it worked in game 1. They're going to play this, very passive, Well, they're going to play this very defensively minded, very slow-paced kind of style. They're going to wait. They're going to let opportunities. They're going to try to play for time.
Oh!
But Azo's got the touch. He fell on top of it, and it came right to him. And Ukiyo Kaizen will start with goal 1.
I don't want this to sound negative, okay? I'm just going to preface this. The goal is good, much like it was last time for Ukiyo, but both kind of sloppy, right?
Yeah.
Not as crisp as maybe they would like, but you know what else they like? They like scoring goals, and ultimately they were getting on the board here first. We saw this in game number 1. They were able to strike first before Lunar Shadow goes on that 3-goal run to eventually get the game 1 double. Right now, of course, Shadow playing with house money. All they need is one more game. Meanwhile, Ukiyo needs the full sweep.
That is very true here. Lunar Shadow have time, but I think for Ukiyo, they don't care about goals at this point because considering that was only their 2nd goal this series, they are starving for chances, and they're going to need another as Faye gets stopped by Azbo. Now a pinch and field from Flocky. Faye again already took that corner boost, but missed the shot completely. It will be Skeps to clear. Kept back in by Torn. Azbo. Flocky. Faye right behind him as now here she goes, looking for the pinch off the sidewall. Clay won't get it, but Skeps is waiting back. Another demo in. This Lunar team's getting a lot more aggressive as Flocky to the back wall. Skeps will keep it wide, and Lunar Shadow starting to test that back wall even more. No shots just yet, though, as they'll keep waiting. Another bump midfield. Faye, flip reset. Won't take it as a bump off of Flocky. Azbo, warn the beat, but pin straight out here. Lunar Shadow playing to these challenges correctly, but they haven't gotten their chances. And considering that they're now down by a goal, they've got to score 1. That could have been it. Azbo with a stop. And there's no follow-up shot online. That was a chance there for Lunar Shadow. Faye got things started, but there was no follow-up. There's no second player on the attack. And for a chance like that, you need someone to follow up on it.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues that Lunar Shadow has that they can certainly address is, like you say, it's a passive play, but sometimes it ends up being lackadaisical play, and that will eventually lose you games. You have to remain engaged. It's something that maybe that's going to be an issue for Lunar Shadow, but they have been able to tighten up when necessary. Still not able to find themselves on the scoreboard just yet, but we are just north of halftime. Still tons of time for either of these teams to be able to take a pivotal game number 3. Again, if Lunar Shadow gets the dub, we are Dunskies. Meanwhile, Ukiyo looking to extend the evening with a win. And for them right now, hey, it's not about the 3 that you need to win. It's just here in this particular game, it's a best of 1 in their mind, right? And that is really what has been so critical for this series is the mental, right? And we see it out there with the EU club in Lunar Shadow. They're not stressing. We're confident. We know this is going to happen, and we can afford to take our time. We can afford to take risks that the opposition cannot, as Azbo sends that one away, and now Clay looking to rush up the wall. But ultimately, you see a language, a card language of confidence from one end of the pitch. You see a little bit of panic and a little bit of rushing from the other side, but I think if one of them decides to implement severe aggression, bumps, demos, bully ball, I think they can get the win in this game and either walk away with the dub or establish a foundation, maybe come back and win in a game number 5.
And that demo game has been very even this series. It started off with Ukiyo Kaizen really doing it, and then you saw Lunar Shadow kind of retaliates, but we didn't see much after that as now a bump. There's the bump you were talking about. Faye! Oh, they just missed it. It hit the back post. It was a perfectly timed bump from Torn. It was going towards the goal, but Faye just not enough on it. Missed her target. And Lunar Shadow will go again. Torn to the back wall. Can't get one on Skeps. Faye again. Clay's going to be there to wait, and Flocky's got to go back. It will be a mistouch from Skeps, and straight to Flocky. We'll find it towards Faye. A minute to go here for Lunar Shadow as they'll look for another chance. Down the field. Oh, a team bump between Faye and Torn. It was Faye wanted to get out of the way of that one, you could tell, but just not in time. And Lunar Shadow goes again. A lot more demos here as Flocky going through some people to get that ball into the midfield, but once again, Lunar Shadow not willing to send people upfield, not willing to, risk and really show that they can put the risk in, that they can put multiple people up on offense. It just feels like there's not enough on offense right now for them, and being the team that's down, they need to send more numbers up. They need to send people up. If there's any time to take those kind of risks for this Lunar Shadow side, now would be it, as now an overcommit here from Ukiyo. Clear down the field. Nobody back. Ukiyo gave it away, and Lunar Shadow, all this waiting, and that's how they tie it up.
Now, I will say here, I get it. I 100% get it. You've got Lunar Shadow sitting back here, again, daring, and they look really, really passive, playing straight up conservative. But when you give them that one opportunity, and Ukiyo knows this, you give them that one opportunity, they will take advantage, they will strike, they will knot this one up, and they know their 1-goal lead goes to a 2-goal differential, 2-goal deficit. So they understand it is absolutely crucial to take advantage of their opportunities. Ooh. I mean, absolutely critical, because ultimately Lunar Shadow going to find those 1 or 2, and that will be enough. However, 0's on the clock thus far. Flocky pops this one away. Skep's going to carry now. Torn and Faye back. Torn going to be able to get the touch, maybe looking to head on over to overtime. Stanza, sure enough, folks, FTC for the content. It is game 3. If Lunar Shadow gets the dub, we are over. We're done here for the evening, or at least for this particular series, beg pardon. Ukiyo, if they are able to get the dub, then this one continues on as Torn now looking to advance. And right now, I got to say, who are you looking for on both ends of the pitch to be able to finish this off?
Well, Aceville might be wanting to step up here at the great chance. Finds Skeps. Aceville comes alive in overtime, and Ukiyo Kaizen still have fight left in them. It's 2-1, the end of game 3.
Kaizen able to bring that aggression, and what happens? They win in overtime, and how huge must that feel? You know, you go down a couple games, you think, oh my goodness, these guys are just, they're more than happy to just kind of do their own thing, wait for us to mess up. So you bring the fight to Lunar Shadow, and hey, how successful was it? But again, just overall, great step up here by Ukiyo, showing, yeah, we know what we're capable of. We know what we can do. We know we can beat these guys. They go down, they do it in overtime. Absolutely huge, but still, we find ourselves in a situation where Lunar Shadow, all they have to do is win one. The pressure still remains on Ukiyo in this case, but they've shown themselves more than capable of doing that, obviously getting that first dub of the evening so pivotal. But like I said, Sporty, I felt this would go to 4 at the very least. Here we are, and maybe, just maybe, that OT win was a bit of a wake-up call, enough to put a chip on the shoulder of Lunar Shadow here yet again. But again, folks, we have had a marvelous evening of action. Lunar Shadow getting that 2-0 series lead. Of course, as you just saw, Ukiyo able to grab one to make it 2-1 in the series. Again, Lunar Shadow, if they are able to get on the board early, I think they will indeed be cooking, and it is the Team Liquid decal providing an interesting but marvelous dime there by Torn. And Skeps just not able to send it away. 1-0 in favor of Lunar Shadow, all of 6 seconds left.
There, pushed a little bit too far up onto that nets and gave an opening behind him that Faye was able to attack on, and now Lunar Shadow, as I said, 1-goal lead. And they can hold this lead too. That's the scary part about it. This is a lead they can absolutely hold. So Ukiyo Kaizen, if they're gonna start anytime, it's gonna be now. They don't have time. So, sure, they have 4 minutes. I gotta understand, this Ukiyo team, this Lunar team, so good at wasting time. Did it 2 games ago in game 2 to win 1-0. So this is a team that can do it again, will likely want to do it again here. Now in midfield, Clay, give it a sidewall, but it's gonna be Lunar again. Here goes Torn, he's found net. Aceville on the block, Skeps on the clear, and Ukiyo will live to fight another day as this game stays at a 1-goal difference. But this defense for Ukiyo, it's gonna be strong, but they've gotta get out of it, because we know if time persists, Lunar Shadow are not unlikely to get another one.
That's down Flocky. Able to reset back towards terra firma, grabs 100, popped on over by Aceville. Aceville has largely led the charge, however, Skeps, of course, able to get the OT killer and will happily crack the goose egg for Ukiyo. They're knotting things up, 357, and an odd setup there by Torn right in front of the net. Of course, we're all human beings, but that's a curious one. One of the few times I think we see him make an error like that. Again, still tons of time for either of these teams to determine the outcome here. Deleted was nice, well, courtesy of Flocky, looking to get that lead right on back with Faye, but a little too late.
Yeah, it was a little bit too late there on that one. And now Ukiyo can go downfield again. It's a lot more midfield based for both these teams, a lot more back and forth. There's not nearly as much dominant control from one team anymore. And I think for Ukiyo, they were kind of down, not feeling so good after game 2, and now without game 3 win, it wasn't a perfect win by any means. No. They nearly lost it, conceding in the final seconds. But it's a confidence booster. It's a goal that it's a game that obviously that will give them the confidence to keep things going. And I have to think that's one of the reasons why they're playing so much more adventurous right now in this game number 4, is because they now realize that this Lunar Shadow team is one that's going to make mistakes, is one that you can press, and is one that is going to break as well. They're not invincible. Just because you're from Europe does not mean you're invincible. Here, although I know I've been speaking as if they have so far. This is a very beatable team. Ukiyo knows this. That's why they're going to keep challenging. That's why they're going to keep playing in this series. And I mean, they're still fighting. They're still attacking. It's even. It's a lot more even. And it is, it's anybody's game at this point, now that both these teams have proven they can win.
Yeah, there's been moments in this one, I mean, a number of moments where you've had one team on one end of the pitch, one team on the other, and I mean just about opposite sides. Kind of a situation, first middle school dance, maybe. Folks looking across the dance floor saying, okay, who's going to blink first? But right now, we are just south of halftime. Faye kicks that back on over. Torn is there again, trying to find a way to work up. Instead, Ukiyo seizing the opportunity. Pop up now by Faye. Set to the opposite side of the pitch. Over to Torn. Torn looking for the shot, but a great challenge by Clay to deny. And one thing, Sporty, that I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen yet, and one thing I'm honestly looking for from Lunar Shadow is quite possibly a team pinch opportunity. We saw the possible demo goal attempt. Really surprised that Faye and Torn honestly haven't bring those out. Something that they like to provide here. But pop back down by Clay. Flocky going to be able to get the touch and the critical save. But it certainly feels like Ukiyo, they grab the momentum back, and they do appear to have the better confidence right now. I don't want to say that Lunar Shadow is going through motions or anything like that, but they certainly haven't changed in terms of the tempo of their play. It's always been at a similar pace.
Oh, Mapo making a little bit of an appearance there. It seems like my Discord has connected to my game because Mapo's made an appearance. He just DM'd me something. Thankfully. I don't think Mapo realizes he's on stream. I'm gonna get rid of Discord real quick so that those don't show up again, because that is... Oh, I feel so bad for you.
It is... Hey,
no,
you know what?
Mapo's a great person. I don't think he was intending to have his DMs. Here we go. We're gonna get rid of those. So hello, Mapo. Welcome in. My Discord does that sometimes where it connects in-game stuff, so... Continue at the end of game number 4. Lunar Shadow. Ooh, another giveaway. Off the corner, and it's again happening to the mirrors. Is that an overcommit? It is, but it's hit the back post. Chances for both sides, mistakes on both sides. This pressure really starting to get to these teams a little bit here as Faye off the ceiling will over that pinch with Flocky, and there you go. There's the teammate you're asking for, but we're gonna get them the offense. It's Flocky again. That's a bit awkward there. We had a player facing the wrong direction on our Ukiyo Kaizen. Shadow. Feeling the clear! It's open! It's Skeps and Ukiyo Kaizen with half a minute left.
Been so important, right? Because we saw Ace-Bo in the early going really shouldering the load, but it has been Skeps ever since, gets the OT killer, and that has been the offense in this one for Ukiyo Kaizen. Meanwhile, Clay and Ace-Bo just doing a great job out there on defense. The savior for Ace-Bo just one south was Clay. But yeah, all of the positive momentum, any momentum really that we saw from Lunar Shadow, it appears to have largely gone up in smoke, but again, they can strike quickly and they can quite possibly tie this one up. However, the opportunities, like you said, they've been there for both teams, but they have really, they've really gone away for Lunar Shadow. They were creating opportunity after opportunity, but now the struggles that Ukiyo is having, it seems to have manifested for Lunar Shadow. And folks, we are heading on to a game number 5. I gotta tell you, Sporty, I'm not especially shocked.
No, I'm not. I mean, we did talk about this beforehand, but real possibility considering the series that we are in. But yeah, it's happening here. It's I think what people wanted. People want to say game 5 match of week 1, at least the final match on today for week 1. It's a nice ending to this action, especially with how chaotic it has been in all of these different divisions. Teams getting used to each other, teams trying to get used to the matches. I know for us on our own staff side, we've had a lot of tickets open this week. Teams just trying to get used to this league. So to see a game 5, to be able to relax a little bit, I'm sure people are going to love. I'm sure people love that because it provides some fun for a week that has been otherwise very, very tumultuous.
Hey, I am here for the content, as you well know. It is Champions Field. It is game number 5. So if you're just coming on in, Lunar Shadow able to grab games 1 and 2. Opening 1, they were able to get 3-1, actually scoring 3 straight before able to get game 2. Ukiyo Kaizen able to grab an OT killer, and then of course this most recent one 2-1 as Skeps has just been an absolutely huge asset for Ukiyo in this one. I felt it would be the Ace-Bo show just about the entirety, but no, Skeps has stepped up huge way, able to get that overtime win, able to really will this team to victory thus far. But we'll see if Lunar Shadow, if they're able to get back to the elements of gameplay, to the play style that was so complimentary to them early on. I don't know if I'm loving the slowness here, Sporty. I'd love to see a little bit more of that ferocity that we saw. There have been moments but just not enough. And I think that would be so beneficial to Lunar Shadow because we're seeing Ukiyo implement that a little bit more, and they have been successful. They've been able to win 2 in a row.
Have been, but I think a lot of it's also been Ukiyo Kaizen going to playing more of Lunar Shadow's play style. You're seeing it. And as though slower, more methodical. They're not clearing as heavy. They're not giving the ball away as much. They're not going for nearly as many aerial plays. They're just playing simple. Going back to basics, keeping things very routine. This is a team that they're not used to playing against. This is a play style they're not used to playing against. Because of that, they're keeping it all based on the fundamentals here in Ivan. We saw it earlier. We'll see it again. It's a very EU-esque playstyle. They're not doing anything crazy. They're just keeping things extremely simple for themselves. So, in a way, they've kind of gone to what Lunar Shadow has been so successful in. Keeping things on the fundamentals, but off the back wall. Torn couldn't get the second touch, and Aesbo will keep this one away. Flick, not over Flocky. Skeps the last one back. You have to turn on this roll instead. Take a wide loop. Still gets the beat on Faye. Torn back just on the save. Follow-up chance. Skeps pushes it through between the eyes.
Who else would it be? Seriously, just reach down deep. Did Skeps, and unfortunately slows things down. Does Torn, and keep in mind, folks, I mean, the ping for these folks, it has remained largely static, which is good. I mean, if you're going to have some delay there, at least something that's consistent, something that you can get used to versus heading all over the place. And we've seen a couple of higher spikes there for Faye is the aforementioned. Not able to put in the back of that, but Blocky sure as heck will. One of the few times we have seen the strong defense here as of games 3 and 4 really break down for Ukiyo. They had really been sitting up against their own net, again, forcing the opposition to come down, say, give us your best shot. But what I like, they're sitting back there, right? They're waiting for that opportunity, and then they have position. They will rush up, be so very good in aggression, sent over towards Aesbo, I should say, not to, but more towards, not able to do anything with it. It's play now, taking the sky, has the touch, and looking to advance against the EU crew here yet again, as we, again, just north of halftime here in game number 5. We've had one overtime stanza earlier on. One by Steps and Aesbo! It had been a hot minute, but it is crossbar down for Ukiyo, and now we're talking 2-1.
I was going to mention the issues that they had on defense, but there's no issues on offense right now. When you've got shooting like that, that's a great effort from Aesbo, right off the bar and in. A forced own goal against Lunar Shadow here, and Ukiyo Kaizen to lead, but I do worry about them holding this lead, considering that they lost the lead earlier. This came from a very consistent mistake they've been making. Whoever's that last player back, it seems like they have issues with having them overcommit into their own net, meaning that they can't make saves. So whenever this team's rotating back, they seem to go into their own net rather than into the post, and it leaves them very vulnerable to shots straight at them, shots that they cannot reach so easily. So it's gotta be careful. What a pass! What a goal! Scabs with another, but Ukiyo Kaizen link up.
Want to talk about an EU playstyle right there. Bang, bang, bang. Marvelous work right in front of the net, and that one, like I say, I think a little bit of love there from the Rocket League gods, from the post and the lip of the goal, actually assisting a team. That's the first time for everything, I suppose, folks, but still tons of time. But it has been a challenge and a half for Lunar Shadow to be able to find a heck of a lot of offense. We saw it earlier on, and it looked almost effortless, but it has been just an absolute slog to be able to do that. Sent away there by Faye. Skep should be able to send it high. Will do just that. Floats around mid, able to get the touch. There is play. They're going to be able to pop that. Looking to rush up here yet again. Deleted in that was toward courtesy of Clay, and everybody getting involved, throwing shoulders, fenders, whatever you want to call it. Click eye. Flocky going to be able to advance. And again, right now, Sporty, if Lunar Shadow, they're not able to not just press up to get on the opposite side of the pitch, but if they're not going to throw hands, if they're not going to get the demos going on, I don't know that they're going to be able to break through this defense.
And if it helps you out as well, ATS, this mainstream, has never seen a reverse sweep yet in its very short lifespan. Ukiyo Kaizen on the cusp of history with less than 90 seconds to go. Lunar Shadow needs to find something, and something soon. Faye, blocked by Aesbo. Ukiyo Kaizen still pushing, but it's blocked with the clear. Skeps demoed away, but Lunar Shadow still keep this one. As Faye down to Torn. Clay keeps it on offense. Ukiyo keeping that ball through. They're just wasting out time, wasting out those opportunities, and Lunar Shadow cannot have a say to it. It's a demo in the midfield. Clay to the back wall. Flocky will clear it, but straight to Aesbo. It's an open backfield here for Ukiyo, but they will beat to it first, as Faye will recover. Lunar Shadow clears it away. Skeps will command the field, but it's Ukiyo Kaizen possession. Lunar Shadow need one. Aesbo to the corner. Torn Up to the back wall as here goes Ukiyo again. Double commit, but plays on the end of it. Faye unable to win the challenge as Ukiyo Kaizen screaming in their ears, screaming at them over and over. What the hell is a kilometer right now? Aesbo, stop by Tor. Flocky, looking at the midfield. Lunar's Shadow trying to answer back. But Skeps will clear it away. Faye up again. Lunar still keeping the ball. Torn, though, keeps it away, but it's not going to be Lunar Shadow. They'll go again, but the ball stays high. It stays in their backfield. The time has run out. It's history in ATS. Ukiyo Kaizen reverse sweep Lunar Shadow.
I suppose they walk away with something against an EU, it's an EU squad, but seriously, testament to what Ukiyo guys was able to do here. Coming back down, getting the reverse sweep against a team of this caliber, absolutely huge for them. And the benefit here, Sporty, in week one, I feel there's positives for both of these teams. Number one, if you're Ukiyo, hey, you were able to come back, get a reverse sweep, huge, absolutely huge for your mental. Lunar Shadow, hey, we saw what they're capable of. It's an enjoyable style if you like dubs. Of course, didn't get one this time around. But regardless, win or lose, both of these teams have a lot that they can look over in terms of film. I know that for Faye and Torn, they haven't had a ton of time to be able to scrim alongside Flocky. So yeah, I mean, if that's the case where you're not 100% sure what your third is all about, you don't quite have that synergy that you would like, understandable that we saw what we have. Meanwhile, this is a team in Ukiyo. They play together, they know each other's tendencies, any issues, any weaknesses they might have. So I think that these are two teams. Honestly, my guy, I think we could see postseason bound. It wouldn't shock me at all if we saw them there, and I can say that here in week number one.
Exactly what people would be week one. A good win for Ukiyo Kaizen as well, and that reverse sweep. My goodness, this team had to pull off quite the incredible comeback, but they do it here, and we're gonna get an interview with Aesbo as well. As we'll get him in, maybe we'll get his whole team in. It sounds like he might bring the whole team with us. CplMonkeyshines, what an end to week one. It's been a wild week one. But all of you out there again, reminder, we already announced the playoff dates earlier today, so here they are again. April 5th, the Ascension Cup. April 6th, the Pinnacle Cup. April 13th, the Phoenix Cup. April 26th, the Catalyst Cup. And April 27th, the Apex Cup. All starting quarterfinals at 8 p.m. Eastern on those days. And you'll be seeing this stream. I can also say, confirmed, every single one of those days streaming the grand finals. So definitely, if you definitely pay attention to this stream. Not only because, I mean, you should, but because we're going to be there for the grand finals. I know CplMonkeyshines, I'm sure you're going to be there for a lot of those matches as well. But for now, I'm excited to see that. I mean, the fact that the playoffs are now announced, the fact that I can actually tell people about the playoffs, we've been holding on to it for a little while now. We've been discussing it as a staff team. People actually have something to look forward to, something to plan for. And teams like Go Team, who have never made it to playoffs, now can look and say, that's the date we need to. That's the events that we're asking for. And here to talk with us about it is Aesbo. Welcome in, Aesbo. A reverse sweep, a first in ATS mainstream history. Congratulations to Ukiyo Kaizen here. How are you feeling?
Happy.
Quick and to the point, man, a few words. So I gotta ask you, went out there, you dropped a couple, you look solid, especially early on, but Skep's able to step up there, so huge there for you guys. What were you thinking? Down to, what were you seeing from them in terms of play style? What did you say to each other?
We saw that they were like very mechanical, and they they used each other very well. So our job, basically, we went into it and we were like, we just gotta like go for the ball because we were playing like so scared the first couple games. It was just like kind of like step it up a little bit, show them what we're made of. Yeah, stuff like that.
Sense, and I think for you, Aesbo, you're definitely someone who's got experience and a very different Ukiyo Kaizen team that couldn't make playoffs. You're one step away from playoffs. Literally, you only lost out because of game differential. This season, you're in the same division, the Phoenix Cup now, not yet. It was last season, and this time you are fighting for that playoff spot. Talk to me. I know for you, at least personally, how important it is to make it to playoffs because you didn't do it last time.
Yeah, it's very important to me to make playoffs because I love being on Liquipedia. It's my favorite thing.
See, I told you CplMonkeyshines. The players who care about Liquipedia.
We were talking about that prior, yeah.
Players, they care about it.
Oh my goodness. So I gotta ask, I mean, you were really doing a whole lot of the work there early on, but then Skeps comes and steps up. Was that planned, or it was just kind of a hot hand situation?
Kind of just happened. He showed up when it mattered. Yeah.
Mattered in sweep now. You'll win week one. Your season is only going to get, I think, more interesting. guys play against Team Evo Voltage next week, so you guys get to have a nice match next week. Get to play against Team Evo, but of course, I know you're looking for the playoff bracket. Now with the playoff dates known, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to it. We did announce playoff dates literally as your match was about to start. Now the playoff dates known, talk to me about about the date of the playoffs, about how much it matters just to the team as a whole. I mean, we got to hear from you how much it matters. How much does this matter to the team as a whole? That the playoff date's known, that now you have something that tangible to fight for, and a day that you guys can say, hey, we need to be there.
Well, we have like the time date for it. We got to be ready for it. We got to scrim for it. We got to do stuff like that. Our team was like made like very recently, so we're still trying to figure like a couple of things out. But so far, it's looking pretty good, and we're just gonna keep hopefully improving until then, and see if we can make it all the way.
You talk about figuring things out. So hey, you went back, like I said, you did an amazing recovery and accomplishment for you guys. But let me ask you, what do you feel was the biggest challenge that you have, the biggest weakness that you feel is absolutely pivotal to address immediately for week number 2?
Our defense. Our defense as a team.
Well, that's
Team defense. There we go.
There you go. He gave you an answer. It was.
I appreciate that.
I like that. Yeah, Aesbo keeps things simple. That's a nice thing here. Well, Aesbo, en route to a second straight appearance on Wikipedia. He made one in the Paradise Cup 2, the last event we ever ran. So, Aesbo, you might be there again if you keep up this season. But for now, week 1 is over. Yes, reverse sweep here in Lunar. So congratulations on you when it gets Lunar Shadow. Thanks so much for joining us, Aesbo. Before you leave, you have any shoutouts? Anything you want to say out there?
Shout out to people like Ukiyo, Candy, Agni, Jackson, Noted, all of them. Shout out my teammates for being there for me, because I couldn't have done it alone. Shout out to you two for casting the match. And shout out to everyone watching. And last but not least, shout out Beziki for pushing me to be better.
Joining this stream. Congratulations on your victory here. A very well-fought win as well. Congratulations, Aesbo. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for week 1 and making history, being the first team to get him on this mainstream. For now, take care, have a great night, and we'll see you soon.
Yep.
Monkey Shines, that was Aesbo out of Ukiyo Kaizen joining us in for a little bit of the fun end to the night here. But to kind of close things out, it's now your turn to have a little bit, to have last words. What do you wish to say to people out there? Because you're on stream. We you wanted to be on stream. Now's your chance to promote yourself on stream because you're an amazing person.
I appreciate you. And folks, I don't care where you're at. I don't care if you're TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, etc. CplMonkeyshines. You will find me on your favorite platforms. I'm sure I'm out there. I appreciate all of your love and support. You can also find me, by the way, on Tuesday over on my stream at 1 p.m. Eastern. It is Wholesome League, where each and every one of you can stop on by and get casted by your boy in some private 6-man, the most casual of casual lobbies. Be sure to stop on by, again, 1 p.m. Eastern this Tuesday. Also on Saturday, by the way, if y'all fancy. But I appreciate each and every one of you supporting. Of course, I always appreciate being on the channel. Everybody out there in chat, because you know what? We wouldn't be here enjoying what we have today or in the future fully without y'all. So you mean the world to everybody involved, me, Sporty, ATS, all of us.
As you said as well, what a great end to the day it has been. Thank you so much for joining CplMonkeyshines, and thank you to all of you who were watching. This was the Ascent Tournament Series mainstream. This was week 1 of all of our action. Thank you all so very much for being so supportive. And well, as you guys go and enjoy whatever it is you guys enjoy, maybe the Super Bowl that's happening right now again, or whoever your favorite team is. For now, take care, be well. We'll see you again next week when ATS Action returns.